What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. At this point, just call me Miss Cleo. And call all of us on the channel Miss Cleo, because I feel like at this point what we do is we give you a take. We give you the takes on a live stream. We give you a take, and guess what? The next day it comes to fruition. That news is put out there. Are the journalists just copying us? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today, it is Thursday, July 14, 2022, and of course I got your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news you care about each and every day. Before we get into anything though, let's go ahead and do me a favor, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos, and of course you're going to be wanting to smash that like button because we're doing a giveaway here on the channel. The very first thing I want to make sure I lay down for you guys is the reminder of the Paul Pogba shirt official jersey giveaway we are doing here on the channel. We will be giving it away on August 1st, 2022. How can you enter, you ask? Well, here's an easy way to do it. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you notify us and let us know that you, of course, when you subscribe, all that good stuff, we will know. But also the way that we also track that is by going on our Twitter account at Bianconeri Zone. Make sure you retweet the tweet with the Pogba giveaway. It'll be the one that's pinned there at the top of the page, as well as make sure you retweet it and tag a friend in it, so that way they get a chance to win too. I'll throw this out there. If you haven't already, consider joining the member squad. If you join at the premium level of the member squad, you also get 5 times the opportunity to end up winning this shirt. Not a bad deal for a little bit of change, and then you can help support the channel that I think a lot of people have ended up calling this a community and have joined in with us as well. All right, let's get into the news today. I'm going to try to do my thing where I'm going to try to keep the ranting. You know, if you watch the live stream, I did a little bit of ranting. The ranting that I do to a minimum. We're just going to try to stick with the news, get through it, and if you want, check in later for an After Dark Live we'll be doing here, covering all the news, as well as just some fun stuff we do here on the side. Very first news story of the day we're going to get to is, of course, talking about Cambiaso. Juventus have now announced a player that he became a Juventus player, kind of, but they didn't. He's gone. That's basically what happened. Di Marzio, Nico Schierra with the first report saying Di Marzio said Cambiaso on loan to Bologna, probably soon. And then shortly after, you had Nico Schierra, who came out with the confirmation done deal and confirmed Andrea Cambiaso to Bologna from Juventus on loan. Basically, the overall deals, though, what happened there is Cambiaso came to Juventus. They spent about 8.53 million euros plus 3 million euros in bonuses. And then Dragusin went the other way to Genoa for 5.5 million euros plus 1.8 million euros bonuses sold to that club as well. And then also we, of course, had Romeo Guidetti came in and confirmed the final confirmation. A full season loan will be what is on the table for Cambiaso. I don't know. I can't write it out. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you at this point. Juventus needed a left back. They don't have a left back. That's the situation. They don't get a new left back, at least now, the way it stands. All right. Like I said, ranting to the minimum. Next story up, though, we're going to talk about Zaniolo. What is going on with him? A week we thought would be heavy about the I would say midfielder, but really he's been an attacking forward lately. So anyway, Corriere dello Sport reporting about him saying a 2-hour lunchtime meeting between Thiago Pinto and Vigorelli took place yesterday with the aim of finding a common solution regarding Zaniolo's future. The only viable track continues to be the one that leads to Juventus, but the Bianconeri have not yet presented the Giallorossi with any offers that can be taken into consideration. At this point, I think it's just really, I know I've said I'm going to keep ranting now, but this is just a commentary. Just a real quick commentary. I think this is Corriere dello Sport trying to make some news out of nothing. I think, as we know, Juventus are really pushing to try to include a player in this deal, and Roma's not trying to do it. They don't want to do it. So I think Juve are going to try to hold out for as long as they can. Zaniolo, though, is also making his point very clear. He does not want to stay with Roma. He does not want to be there. I don't think they're going to utilize him. I don't think that Mourinho wants him there. So I think we'll probably hear, maybe in the coming weeks, it may take a little bit longer than we initially expected, just because Juve are trying to get a good deal. They're trying to maybe move on Artur. All right, let's move it on. Talking about Artur and the situation going on with him, Mirko D'Itale has an update saying that on Artur, the player will not leave for the tour because of a foot problem, the USA tour that will be coming up in the next coming weeks. He is still not 100%, but he returned to training yesterday. The possibility that he could leave Juve in the summer session is indeed very high. So obviously, Juve are ready to move him on, want to move him on. That's one of those situations where Roma would be great to fit him in there. We'll keep an eye on, see how it develops. But again, Of course, he's injured. Of course, he's not good to go, which isn't great for a Mercado when you're trying to sell a player that's currently injured. All right, let's move on and talk about other options Juve could have in the midfield. Of course, you'd have to move on guys like Artur for this to happen. Corriere dello Sport reporting that Leandro Paredes remains a Juventus target, but the Bianconeri must thin out the midfield. First on the list is Ramsey, with whom they are negotiating for a termination. That's going to happen. Another outgoing player is Artur, who weighs over 47 million euros on the balance sheet, which is a massive sum, which is, again, why they're pushing so hard for Roma to take Artur off their bookings, what they're worried about. Among the players transferable in the case of important offers, we have, of course, Rabiot, McKennie, and Zakaria. Two of those I'd rather retain for the upcoming season. Rabiot, let's go ahead and get him moved on. And I think also Max Allegri has kind of said that he basically intends to keep Weston McKennie for the upcoming season. I wonder if it could be a little bit of posturing because they are about to go on a U.S. tour, and maybe some Americans like myself that aren't Juventus fans, maybe they'll be more likely to want to buy tickets to go to the game to watch Weston McKennie play. Something to keep an eye on. All right. Another player Juve would have been interested in, but gives him a big fat no, and that is Edin Dzeko's agent tried to complete a swap with Juventus between the injured striker and that of Cuadrado, which is kind of a surprising one throughout there. With the approval of both clubs, then the Bosnians no, which broke the bank. So basically, Dzeko did not want to be a Juventus player. And I can't fault him. His feelings have to be a little bit hurt. Maybe he's a little bit butthurt over the. I hate that term. I don't know why I used it. I used it. It's petty. Maybe he's a little bit hurt over the last couple seasons. Especially 2 seasons ago when you had the rumors of all the strikers that were trying to come into Juve and who Juve had to pick from. There was Dzeko, there was Suarez, there was Morata, there was a handful of Scamacca was thrown in there, a handful of guys, and no matter what, it kind of felt like Dzeko was at the bottom of the list. That Juve were just not interested. I think he's has a little bit of hurt feelings over that, so he doesn't want to go to Juve, which is fine by me. Would have been a nice little solution just as the advice to Vlahovic, but really he wouldn't have done too much for us. On the other half, you don't want to help Inter that much, but at the same time, because the way their whole Mercado has played out, they weren't planning to bring Paulo Dybala in now, so bringing in Dzeko I don't think would have really made that big of a difference. It's possible, but something that we don't have to worry about now. Next up, though, let's talk about another striker. It is the guy who would have been a little bit ahead of him, which was Morata, who obviously ended up coming a couple years ago. Sky Sport reporting there is still a possibility for a third return for Alvaro Morata. Basically, he could return soon. The clubs will discuss the situation. So something to keep an eye on. Morata may end up being the guy in the end anyway. Now let's get to the main story. The main reason you're probably here, though, is because the ongoing center back saga, what we have going on, what's the latest updates there. Matthijs de Ligt, could he stay with the club? Which is something I floated out there. I'm not going to take all the credit. I'm not taking all the credit. It's about 98% of the credit. But I floated it out there asking, hey, could it be? Because I just feel like the situation with Matthijs de Ligt, he seems a bit more professional and not that fully bleep Juve, I want out of here kind of mode. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. First up, we have Romeo Guaresti reporting on Matthijs de Ligt's situation, saying that there could already be an update with Rafaela Paminta later today. Juventus have nothing more to say to Bayern Munich. The negotiations open, but the Bavarian club must raise their offer. The Bianconeri are not open to counterparts and want to get as close as possible to the 100 million euro figure, maybe even starting with a fixed amount, part of about 80 million euros. So nothing that we don't know already. Juve want more money. They want only cash. They don't want players. But the second part of this is the big update, which is La Stampa reports saying that after a meeting with de Ligt in La Stampa, so I get it, take it with a grain of salt. But I feel pretty staunchly in this that it could be a possibility. I feel pretty strong. I do. Don't look at me that way. I do. Okay, anyway, after a meeting with de Ligt, the club feels a bit of confidence that they could keep him. A new deal with a lower release clause is still on the table. Now, this is, and again, I know I'm just giving a commentary. I'm not going to rant a lot, but what I'm going to say is this in the situation. I feel like when it comes to de Ligt, I'm not saying, and I'm not gullible enough to believe that he's going to stay at the club. When it says that he's going to remain, they're going to keep him. What I mean is on borrowed time. We know the situation now. You understand de Ligt. You understand he has no sentimentality and serious investment when it comes to the club of Juventus. He is not good to stay here. He doesn't want to be here forever, which is fine. But he's a great player. He's a great defender. I'm not going to let anybody tell me that he's not a great defender and not a great center back. Does he make mistakes? Yeah, who doesn't? You can tell me Ronaldo didn't make any mistakes while he was here? I think right now, if you can lower that clause a little bit, but you end up retaining Matthijs de Ligt here for another season, especially a do-or-die season for Max Allegri, for the players that are here, you're going to tell me, especially Di Maria, who's only coming to play one season with Juve. He's not going to stay here any longer. That you bring in Pogba, you bring in Di Maria, you got Vlahovic, you got all these pieces coming back together. You've got Federico Chiesa coming back healthy. That you want to have to start from ground zero again when it comes to the center back position. No, I think if you can at least keep Matthijs de Ligt and renew him so that way you can maintain him for one more season, play it out, feel comfortable with what you have in defense, but still end up making a nice little payday off of him next summer, then I think that's the way you have to go. I think right now the options out there are not good enough, to be honest. That's my opinion. All right. Done with that part of the rant. It was a short rant. I want to keep it at that. Try to keep it short. There you go. Sorry, guys. All right. Next up, we have Dario Pellegrini, who is talking about the other options Juve have at center back, which is now Juve have really kind of mustered up, and it seems like option number one is that of Pau Torres. Juventus are strong on Pau Torres and will try to bring down Villarreal's evaluation. The Bianconeri would like to close around 40 million euros. The Spaniards are holding a 60 million euro clause. It would settle, though, for about 10 million euros less. This is a situation to me, personally, that I feel like I thought 50 was the clause. It keeps for some reason it keeps going up. Maybe it was just incorrect information and that's what it is. Or maybe it's just the idea is that it's been more toward 50. I still think or wonder if Juve could get it closer to the 40-something euro range, maybe. Romeo Guidetti also follows that up, saying Pau Torres' name to consider for Juventus. We will see if there will be concrete contracts. The player has a clause of around 60 million euros, which he confirms. I guess I was wrong in my assumption. But Villarreal are starting from a demand of 50 million euros. The Spanish defenders reportedly expressed a willingness to move to the Premier League, which is not Serie A, but no club has made a move. So it's still yet to be seen if he's really down to go to Juve and down to go to Serie A, and that's something that I really am interested to see how that unfolds, but something to keep an eye on. And then the third part of that, of course, is, and here is where the Premier League bugaboo comes in, and where you may get worried, especially if Matthijs de Ligt definitely is for sure going to go this season. That is where Graham Bailey comes in and reports that Man City are also interested in bringing in Pau Torres. And that could be something that you could worry about if you're Juve. You just lost one Koulibaly to Chelsea, which maybe it wasn't really a loss because maybe he wasn't really considering you to begin with. But you just lost him to Chelsea. How many times can you strike out? You can't afford to strike out on this next one in the Mercado. So it's either keep Matthijs de Ligt or get your boy Pau Torres, or one more option that we've talked about that's been out there, the big boy that we all want, Bremer. Let's talk about him. Romeo Guidetti comes back with a little bit of more gusto, if you will, when it comes to, I say, it's not all doom and gloom when it comes to the Bremer front. He says to be careful on Bremer too. It is true that Inter are further ahead and already have an agreement with the player. But I keep Juve there. It's an evolving front. So when he says that, it means that Juve is definitely still going to be involved there. And they still may make a push. And that's where this last bit of news comes in for today. Corriere dello Sport reporting Juventus are moving for Bremer, who is the first option now. And he should be. He absolutely should be the next top option. To me, he is the top guy with the most potential down the line right now out there that Juve could get. And you should put him up there as the next most important guy. Pau Torres can be too, but I think this has to be the guy that you have to make a massive push on. Serie A Defender of the Year. If you can replace Matthijs de Ligt with that, hell yeah, get me on board. Continuing on to say, Cherubini will try to convince the player. Cairo would be open to selling to Juventus as they could offer more than Inter. So Cairo, he's made his out there statements, saying about if they're selling Skriniar or whatever for 60, 70 million euros, and we're only going to sell Bremer for 25. If Juve come out there and lay it, and I know I just shook the camera, on the table, you know what I'm saying when I say it, if they put it on the table and they put the money there and Inter can't pay that because Inter have all kinds of debt that they have to deal with right now. They just brought in Lukaku. They can't even afford to bring in Dybala. I think Juve should throw their weight a little bit around. Throw the money, throw the weight a little bit around. You sell Matthijs de Ligt, you bring in Bremer. All things are good. You're good to go, and I'm feeling better about the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with that? Do you think Bremer is the guy, the hype train, where it should be going right now? Or do you think Pau Torres? Do you think maybe this retention of Matthijs de Ligt? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Sofer on Twitter, and of course you can follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I will see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.